Every year, fishing gear is lost in our oceans due to storm activity, boat traffic, and gear abandonment. Derelict fishing gear haunts our oceans, catching all kinds of marine animals in its path. This is called ghost fishing, and it is a global problem. Everyone is impacted by ghost fishing, and there are many players involved in finding a solution. Here's one perspective.
My name is Gene Long. I opened Mott's Channel Seafood 27 years ago in May of 1990, and been owner-operator since then. I started the business from scratch and been very successful. We buy fish from all up and down the coast. I mean, we have a lot of fishermen bring us fish to our docks directly. We do have to rely on some imported, it's very seasonal. Whenever we can, naturally we're going to use local fresh seafood, but we have high standards for our imported fish and shrimp, and you just can't get enough on a regular basis to support a business like mine if you don't use some imported. But we try to use all the local fresh we can. Dramatically. I started 50 some years ago, commercial fishing part-time, and I've always done it part-time. I've never solely relied on commercial fishing, but I've done a lot of it. And the regulation, we need regulation, but we need to give regulations time to work also. And I feel like sometimes they may get a little ahead of themselves, and that puts a lot of people out of business that are trying to make a living catching certain species. And we just need to let it work and not try to over-regulate. I have customers ask me if do I have problems getting enough seafood, and most of the time the answer is we don't have a problem. But it's not really from that's just the nature of the business, because weather dictates a lot of our supply. So it's always been, feast or famine in the seafood business. We don't wholesale like we used to. I mean, the regulations have put a lot of people just couldn't make it. So I don't have abundance of seafood to wholesale like I did 25 years ago. But I still luckily have enough to supply my business. It supports a lot of livelihood for people, and of course people like to eat fresh seafood, I hope. Fishing gear is probably their biggest expense, and they have to take care of it, and that's how they make their living. And just like any other profession, that's your livelihood, so you're not going to just throw it away or leave it out there. And if a fisherman pays $200 or $300 for a net, he's not going to just leave it out there. He's going to take care of it. And I've been around Rochefort Beach 66 years, and I've never found a gill net or from time to time you'll see a crab pot, but they have the escape rings in them, so if somebody does lose one, it kind of becomes a haven for smaller fish. I mean, it doesn't really kill fish, so that doesn't really hurt a whole lot. So no, I don't think it's a problem. I don't know about worldwide, because I don't know how big the problem is. Of course, I'll just pay attention locally, and I don't really think it's a problem at all. I mean, I'm in these waters all the time. I never find any gear or anything that would trap or harm seafood. I fish the Gulf Stream a lot. I mean, I do. That's probably 75% of my fishing. I go to the Gulf Stream. Well, that is international waters, and it's long line in territory. And I've never, in 50 years, I probably hadn't seen maybe a net or two, and mostly you see buoys, just a styrofoam buoy the size of a basketball. I mean, just floating along by itself with no line or hook or anything. I mean, you just don't see it. I mean, off of here you don't. So maybe in foreign countries, just take care of your fishing gear and be responsible.